they've been number one as a company in market share, meaning they do the most amount of volume, and they uphold the first position to achieve that. So there's a lot of great talent here, from team building to just a bunch of solo brokers, then smaller team, core teams that have done really well in our local market and in the industry as a whole. So if you're thinking of swapping or you're thinking of challenge yourself in maybe business development, there's a lot of good talent that you could reference to and talk to. When I started in Remax, one of the first things they did in the first 6 months, I probably interviewed at least 25 brokers out of that Remax. I just walked around, I said, why are you successful? Why are you in real estate? Why you do real estate? Why you don't do real estate? So I think networking in the real estate industry is very important for those who are just starting off. And then the question is, where are you going to build to is also a determining factor. So some of us just want to keep our business where it's at, which is great. Others want to challenge themselves in growing, and that's very important, because if you grow yourself, your business will grow also. So just some side note hints for those of you who are thinking about Keller Williams. Not only that, this is not a commercial, I'm not getting paid to do this, but there are a lot of training that is cultivated by KW, and I think they were kind of the first ones to pioneer on a handful of the training, including team models, including helping solo brokers move into those tiers. And again, growth should be part of your business model. Personal development should be part of your business model. And you'll never go above what you know or what you're able to do. So if you start as a buyer's broker and you move your way up. I appreciate a handful of you coming today. Our new construction division started in January of this year. And the reason we cultivated this division to where it's at is I've been in the industry about 19 years. I've sold homes from fix and flip to new home sales, and most of my business right now is new home sales, from land acquisition to new homes. We do still service a handful of investors who are in the fix and flip business, and we take those homes to the market also. But right now, where I sit, like most of our sales are new homes that we achieve and bring to market every single year. When I did reverse engineer success, even in Clark County, all top producing brokers had their businesses intertwined with new home sales. Meaning you can only go up so much in resale, but after you go into resale, this is, I call it the pie of our real estate training. If you look at this, I don't know if everyone has one, or you can grab, I can get you guys a couple in the back. There you go. That's how we service people here. You hear that. Most of those guys had it. Get one to your. Oh, someone more there. So if you move, you're there. You need some stretching, so you're good. There you go. So if you look at this pie in real estate, new construction is a big sector of sales. Last year in Clark County, and you can put that, 37% of the market share was on new home sales. So that means 1 out of 3 transactions was a new home. Is that a lot or not? I'll ask you. A lot. That is a lot. And it's been growing since I've entered the industry. Year after year after year, the market share has been growing. So what should you do as business owners? You should allow that market share to enter your business portfolio also, and cultivate that, knowing that the market is, that's how the market is shifting, and we have to shift our business to, go ahead, question, already.
So with new construction, it used to be like, you buy a house and holy smokes, it would really appreciate tremendously right out of the gate. Sometimes before, immediately like the first month. It's not like driving a car and it's worth half as much or $10,000 less. So is that still the case, and what do you think the appreciation is the first 12 months on new construction? Because in about a $750,000 price point, homes appreciate about 3.6%. In the past 12 months here in Clark County in that price range. I'm just wondering, are new construction appreciating faster?
I can't say maybe faster, but I'd say the features and amenities offered in new home sales. So for example, like Richfield, you take Richfield, whatever they develop, whether it's an acre or 5 acres, the city has adopted a model that 25% has to be in trails and parks and wetland mitigation. So what I'm saying is 30 years ago or 40 years ago in Richfield, they didn't have these amenities. Now you move into a new home in Richfield and now you have all these beautiful setbacks or parks or something like that. So the appreciation might not be, you know, what you're after, but the amenities are definitely going to be there. Yeah, so the amenities are definitely going to be there. So what we saw also, if you go across the general rule of thumb of the industry, just real estate as a whole, the only other area that there is a division is actually the title companies. So the title companies actually have a new construction division where title reps teach, train, and cultivate to generate business in new home sales. And what I saw was when I did a lot of research, no brokerage actually had a new construction division, which is really sad. And actually, none of the lenders do also. Meaning, somehow the business is being cultivated, but it's not being cultivated in a very organized, you know, thorough process, and talent is not being derived for that market. It's just, you know, all of us, you know, we come across it, we do the transaction, we just move on. But if you can really cultivate it, it can bring a lot of value. That's number one. Number two, for resale, which is right here, when you know what's being built, you know the resale market is going to come, what, 5 years later in that same community. So you as a broker better know, you know, like I was in the community today in Pacific Lifestyle, I didn't even know where that, like off of 50th and 17, like I've been driving, I'm like, man, they got a community like in this back pocket. But then I was like, you know, in 5 years, this is the resale. There's going to be people who want to move out of this place, and if you're not following new home trends, you're not even following the resale market also. Because people are going to be moving out of that community 5 to 6, 7 years. So now you as a broker are not even equipped to understand where homes are coming out of and where the resale market is going. I've even talked, and I used the example like Vancouver downtown. Like we never had a luxury condo market, but now we do. Why? Because of new home sales. You know, we never had $1 billion planted on the waterfront, but now we do, and a huge industry of that is the condos. So we have to have people eventually step up to these places. So new homes is huge. Another example about Richfield, we talked about this today in zoning and land acquisition. When Richfield started to blow and grow as a city, you know, they adopted high density right out the gate. That's why townhomes will, you know, you drive into it, you see townhomes right away. City of Vancouver, Clark County, it took them 20 years to adopt that. So what I'm saying is, you know, going into Richfield and knowing that, you know, now they have townhomes as like the first thing at the gate as an adaptation, you better learn how to sell townhomes, you better figure out HOAs, you better figure out what wall-to-wall means and living next door to a neighbor, and all of this stuff, but this is all new home sales that is pushing on us, the brokers, to sell. And if you're not overlapping knowledge in new home sales, you're kind of behind, not ahead. You really are behind. Because you're not servicing your clients to their fullest potential capacity. Because your clients, and that's what the data shows, is your clients, 70% of your clients, whether seller or buyer, if they are in the market, they will visit a new homes model to look at what's available. It's like when you want to buy a car, you go to the car show, right? You're like, what's the new thing on the market, right? You go to the car show, what do you do there? You just look at stuff, smell the stuff, whatever, you know, you take photos with it. And that's kind of what new homes. People like to see the trends, want to see the amenities, they want to see what, you know, the creativity. A couple of new homes I sold, I just had people show up, and they're like, man, I never seen this tile. I just saw the picture, I want to come and look at this tile, where'd you guys get it? I'm like, okay, like, they want to just see tile, or they want to see the latest fashion, or whatever. So there is a huge sector in new homes that does contribute to resale market. And I don't want to point out fingers, but Cole here, he started new home sales, but it was a huge propeller to where he's at even in his resale market. It gives you that exposure, it gives you that proponent. Even if you list just one new home, doesn't matter. If you just list even one house, or you bring a buyer to that one house and then that buyer eventually becomes a seller, that cultivation is so important, to cultivate that in your business. So today, this is our training that we developed, powered by Ground, on new home sales. It's a 7-tier training. I'm not going to go through all of them, but what it really does, it really lays you the land if you eventually want to kind of go 7 layers deep on this. And I'll give you a quick recap of what this is, and then I'll talk a little bit more about why new homes. So the first chapter is why new homes, and we talked about that, and you look at this. This is a very visual. I believe the brokers need to put fillers out on where they're at, where the market's at, and they need to put all their energy on that market. So right now we only have 1% of short sales. So if you try to put all your eggs in that one basket, it's going to be a really weak return. But like new homes is still a huge market share. It's 37%. Go ahead.
I have some mindset problems. I'm just telling you about my personal problems. But, so in my mind, new construction is just too expensive right now. So you're better, and it takes like 6 to 9 months to build. So I'm better off just selling my client a resale home. It's a better deal, and it's available now.
True, but I just came out of a meeting with Pacific Lifestyle. They have a community of 60 homes, and they're selling 2 a month. So the question is, do you want that business or not? That's the real mindset shift. It's not really, will you, that business will be done with your presence or without your presence. If you cultivate it, those clients, instead of going to the Pacific Lifestyle office and making a sale there, they're going to do a sale through you. And I'll tell you, we've lost a lot of transactions because the people do not want to go to the brokers because the brokers don't want to do that service to the clients.
Good point, thank you.
So I'm telling you, like 37% is 37%. It's a lot. It's not just like whatever. Like if it was 5%, it'd be hard to convince people. When it's 37%, and I'll give you from Salem to Bellingham, if we just talk Pacific Northwest, 60% to 70% is owned by national builders. The product that is being derived to the market, is that going anywhere? No. Is Walmart going anywhere? Walmart will be here when I'm dead, because Walmart's so big. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Like, these national builders, when they're here, they're going to be here. You know, Aho might not be here in 20 years, but DR and Lennar will. So this is the conception that we have to really build. Go ahead.
What do you say to buyers to overcome the myth of like new construction is cheaply built because builders want to make every dollar they can?
So the whole thing is most stuff that you have in your house have a lifespan of about 8 to 10 years of usage. So your water heaters, it's very rare that I come in a house that's 40 years old and they have a 40-year-old furnace in there. Very rare. It's very rare that I enter a house that's 100 years old and they have a 100-year-old faucet in that house. So most of your amenities will get swapped out because they have a lifespan. Just like your pen does. Your pen will run out of ink. So go buy a new one. It has a lifespan. So you tell your clients that things have a lifespan. So do all the amenities and everything, you know, they have a lifespan and you'll just have to swap them out. So, yes, on the cheaper side, it'll last you shorter, the lifespan is shorter. On stuff that are more expensive, more homes, you know, the lifespan will last longer. But another objection is, it's not really the material, it's really the installers. You know, this carpet is sold by five same carpet companies. It's really the installer, how he installs this. That base, you know, you can buy that base in 5 wholesale companies, right? But it's how the installer installs that base, whether it will last a year or will last 5 years. So the installer is really, I think, a huge aspect to that too. Does that help? No?
Yeah, it does. And I don't wanna go too far on a tangent, but since you have so much experience with different builders,
Sure.
do you have an idea on your head of like who has a more high quality build and who's less, or do you kind of put them all on an equal level?
I would say they all flop on like the 10th house. They all have, you know, they all have their max. So say whatever, like Lennar, their capacity is to build like, say, just let's do around 10 homes, right? But they take on 12. So these 2 homes are just wobbling and just kind of like getting the last hand, the last contractor, everybody's doesn't want to get to it. So I think all the builders, especially when the market has such a strong run up like we've had, like the quality just drops for everyone, even the window manufacturing companies. It's just like, you know, they can only do so much, but they take on more work than they can do. So I think overall there is an industry standard. I can send it to you. It's like a couple hundred pages of the industry standard, right? But overall, I think once in a while you get a bad apple.
Yeah. And that's why you do inspections.
And inspections, walkthroughs, blue tapes, all of that. Any other questions? So our first category is why new home sales. We kind of touched on that. It makes you a better professional in your own market. We talked this morning a little bit. Brokers sell 3 products. That's land, residential, and commercial. Those are only 3 products we sell. We don't sell anything else. So we have to know land, and that fits into new home sales. There's land and lots all around you right now. That parking lot is a piece of land. It's a lot. It's a legal lot. It's a piece of land. It's a parking lot. You have your cars there, but in 30 years, there's going to be houses there. It's a lot. So what I'm saying is there's land everywhere. Then there's residential real estate, which you guys do, and then there's commercial. You're sitting in a commercial building. Those doors do not go into a residential doors because this is a commercial building. So we have to learn 3 product lines: land, residential, and commercial. Land is probably the most underserved, but yet the highest in demand. There's land everywhere. It's just brokers don't know how to sell it. That's an issue. Go past 119th. You've got farmlands all the way up to Battleground.
Stop building on 119.
But I'm just telling you,
That's my street.
but I'm just saying 119th and everything north of that is a bunch of land all the way up to Battleground, right? I mean, all of it is just land product, right? So you have to learn how to sell that land product. Why are there no utilities? Why is there no sewer? Why is there no gas? Whatever, like you just gotta figure out land. Like you have to understand why, you know, there's storm system designs and whatever, and how the water flows. So this is all about land. Like I sit down with developers and ask them, you know, why is it hard to do this? And they go, you guys doing pump stations and infrastructure and all of this. You know, where does all the sewer go from Battleground? Did you guys ever ask the question? Well, yeah, that's an interesting question. Where does it go, right? So you gotta you learn these things as you're dealing with land. So land helps you propel and answer these questions. We talk about the engine. This is more like self-development, but it really all starts from a dream. What do you want to do, and how you want to service your clients. That's, I think, the propelling aspect of your business. If you tear down every single thing you know, and at the heart of your life, what is it that you want to do? And I use this example when I started real estate. I saw big signs and plats and their name on it. I looked at it, I was like, man, I wish there would be a day I would have that. I had a dream, and now that's what we do. But what I'm saying is, you have to somewhere propel a dream inside of you. you know, whether it's, you know, front desk, whether it's servicing customers. I don't know, for each one they got their journey, but this is the engine. This is what, there's a book called Why, the why reason. Why do you get up in the morning? What propels you to do what you need to do? Then we have the exposure to the greater market. This is how you cultivate culture in your business by networking. And we talk a lot about that new home sales brings you to a huge portfolio of new database of people that you would probably never meet in your life. So if you even go to one BIA event, just a simple like thing, you'll meet a lot of people that you'll never meet anywhere else in your life. If you go sit down at your banker, there's a residential side and then there is what? The business side in banking. So go sit down with a business banker. Because you're in business, you want to talk to a business banker. So this is what we talk about. You meet a lot of contractors. Why do you need contractors? Well, contractors own houses, right? You know how many contractors have reached out and asked for refis, maybe sell, maybe buy something, because they know I'm in the real estate. So you go through a lot of contractors who want to not only sell them your service, but maybe you can sell them your real estate service. So this is exposure to the greater market. A market that maybe you never believed or thought about. It's not maybe calling your physicals or expired or cold calling. This is a whole other venue of reaching the same goal, but just the roadmap is totally different. What is the end goal for brokers? More transactions. Transactions gets us payrolls. We make money by cultivating transactions. You need people to get you there. You need transactions. You need people who have or want houses. So our end goal is to cultivate transactions. So if Cole and I start talking, I'm going to pick on Cole because he's very patient with me. But if I and Cole talk, my goal is how can I cultivate a transaction, a real estate transaction with him. So I'm going to ask him how he's doing. Does his family own a house? Does his dad own real estate? I actually know how much real estate his dad owns. But that's through our conversations that we've cultivated, right? But what I'm saying is, like, this is the stuff you want to start talking about with every single person. And I know in the immediate circle you have a lot of people who own real estate. But you want to meet more circles with more people who own more real estate, because then you increase your chances of creating transactions. Culture creates opportunity. This is really huge also. You're in business to create culture, and people are going to know you for something. Do people know me that I am the new construction guru? You can ask this in the broker world, you can ask this in my contractor world, you can ask the builder world, you can ask Metallica. They all know me that, hey, David he's somehow associated with new homes, period. How, we don't know, but because that's the culture of my business. That's my branding. That's what I want people to know. You know, 2 hours ago didn't know about me, now you do. But now that times that by 100, right? Times that by 500. So you have to create culture and what you're trying to produce value inside of that culture. And your database of pool of people that you're working with, that is the culture you're doing. It was interesting, we're talking about one of the teams here, and one of the brokers here, manager's like, you know, he was able to build his team, and then all his followers, they're like in a cult. And I was like, yeah, like if you build the right model of your business, people will follow you because they want your service. Let's move on. Prospecting. So we talk a lot about prospecting, not in necessarily the Tom Ferry, the Mike Ferry way. We talk about prospecting in overcoming objections, problem solving, and being able to create a lot more value while you're prospecting. So the prospecting is not necessarily, and when it comes to landowners, when it comes to developers, investors, your prospecting more aligns in the area of relationship building just than hardcore cold calling prospecting. And we talk about this a transactional relationship or cultivating a long-term relationship. And most of the new home sales, whether it's with a client or whether it's with an investor or builder or developer, is a long-term. Why? Because if you and the client are going to be in a partnership of building this home for 9 months, you better be in a good relationship with your client. Because that's what's going to cultivate and help the transaction. So, and a lot of us, we want the quick, but, within 9 months, you can build a pretty good culture with those clients. In 9 months, you can prospect those clients. In 9 months, your clients are talking to all their friends about them building a home. So they're doing a lot of marketing for you if you know how to prospect right. So that is a huge bridge building and prospecting. Then we go to the 4 levels of development. A little bit overlaps with Keller Williams in the sense of being a salesperson and then being a sales team. But what we also found is then you become an account manager, or I call them a builder, listing sales, inside salesperson for a builder, and then you become the investor. This is usually the roadmap of a broker who wants to cultivate himself inside of new home sales. So a lot of us are maybe just salespeople. We're just grinding away and we're producing transactions, which is great. Next, you go to become a sales manager, meaning you have a transaction coordinator. You're slowly building your team. You're not just sitting out and doing absolutely everything yourself. Then you go an account manager, and why I put the word account, because I don't see builders necessarily like sellers. I see them people who are running business, and this is a B2B kind of a relationship. You're helping them make money while you're making money with them. And this word comes out of more wealth management, where wealth advisors, like you're running an account, a portfolio, and then it's an investor. So when brokers become really, really good in new home sales, they don't not only become account holders, but oftentimes they can become equity partners. Oftentimes they become investors. Oftentimes they become a lot bigger than just a salesperson. This does not happen overnight. It does take time. I'd say you need about 2 years in every tier to become proficient enough. So be 2 years in salespeople, then 2 years you're kind of building your team, about 2 years in maybe taking on 1 or 2 listings and learning how to work with builders, and then maybe on that's 2, so on year 7, 8, you go out and you start investing maybe yourself. If you haven't bought a house for yourself, go buy one. You are the investor. And then we jump into the 4 categories of selling homes. So same thing, the sales management position, then the building of the product, the land development, land acquisition. A lot of these terms come from the builder community because this is the terminology that is used, and a lot of the brokers do not understand this language. It's foreign to them. But this is what the division is about, that we can slowly start to understand the language of land. Because we got 3 products to sell: land, residential, and commercial. We have to understand the language of land, at least to some level and some degree. If we don't, we won't be able to sell it. So this is how things are cultivated. So what I mean, when you're driving and you see a piece of property and somebody sold that land to a developer, that's usually the land acquisition. It was acquired. Then there's a land developer who took this, say, 1 acre piece, hired a team, and then they split it off into, say, 5 lots. So that's land development. Then they built the product. They decided to build single-family residentials. They decided to build townhomes. They decided to build cottages, whatever they're building. And then you have the sales office that is just selling this thing to the market. This is kind of a very bird's-eye view of the roadmap of how new homes derive to the market. So going back to why we need to go here, I'll give you one illustration. I don't know, when is that, 2? When is this session at?
150.
150, okay. So, when kids grow up, and I have 4 of my own kids, but when kids, they're at a young age, The natural inclination, you give them Legos and they start to build something. You give them wooden blocks and then they play with it, right? Nothing changes when we grow up. This is why real estate, and you're in my industry that we love, is so attractive to people. Because people like to build. People build above ground, at ground, and below ground. People build in the mountains, on cliffs, and people build by the sea, by the seashores of oceans. Why? Because people like to build. It's not going to go anywhere. Rates go up, rates go down. There's never going to be a time when people stop building. So now you understanding this from that perspective, how are you going to build and cultivate your business that this concept of natural human behavior starts to become part of your business? People will always build. Home Depot will always be around. When COVID hit, Home Depot was busy. I really mean it. It was the first time that I saw Home Depot parking lot actually use its full capacity. It was amazing. I told my wife, man, people went into their homes and they figured out their home don't look nice anymore. They need to remodel it. People always do something. They always either renovate, improve, or they build. So whatever happens in legislation, on zonings or whatever, people will always find a way to build. They'll build ADUs, they'll build duplexes, they'll build condos, they'll tear down old houses and put new houses. They'll restore old houses like Portland downtown, historical sites. So people will always be in the building process. They will always be there. And this is why we as brokers, we have 3 products to sell: land, residential, and commercial. 2 of them fall right into our category. 2 out of the 3. And we have to give more value first to ourselves by learning about this, but also to the clients in the market that it deserves. And the market share is too high. We have to understand the market share is too high for us to close our eyes and say, I don't want to deal with new homes anymore. Like, we can't do that. We have to keep moving forward and we have to cultivate our business around this. Well, my time has come. Hopefully you enjoyed this session. Hopefully you learned something. Now, hopefully when you look at real estate and everything you drive by, it'll definitely make a different impression on you and your business model. Thank you.